At the end of the passage, you discover another tunnel that leads off to the left. The walls and ceiling of this adjacent passageway are dripping wet, indicating that it passes directly under the stream. You stride along its narrow confines, your shoulder grazing the muddy walls as you advance up a flight of steps, which leads to an archway supported by thick wooden beams. Beyond the arch lies a large subterranean chamber that is daubed and decorated with runes and evil insignia. It is a primitive temple, and it radiates an aura of evil so vile and malicious that the thought of entering makes your skin crawl. On the far side of this unholy place, you see a stone altar standing before a huge boulder that has been crudely chiseled to resemble a grinning human skull. An eerie green glow pulsates from the eye sockets of this great skull rock, and a mist swirls from its open jaw. Wolfsbane stands before the altar, an arrogant sneer spreading slowly across his face. "I expected better sport from you, lone wolf," he chides. "You disappoint me. But no matter. Such easy triumphs proves the worthiness of my master's cause. I bid you farewell, lone wolf. A final farewell." And with these chilling words ringing in your ears, your enemy stretches out both of his hands and takes hold of two iron staves that protrudes from the ground on either side of the skull rock's jaw.
Is he going to fight us now?
He jerks them out of the setting and casts them into the center of the temple. Then, with a patronizing salute, he turns and enters the open jaw, swiftly disappearing into the swirling mist. So,
God damn it!
At this point, Lone Wolf's just going, "Come back here!"
No, I don't want to. That would be an indication of me being a fair fighter.
The dull boom of an explosion somewhere in the rock above the ceiling makes your heart miss a beat. Moments later, the walls begin to shake and the floor shudders violently beneath your feet, throwing you off balance. Rock and earth cascades from the roof and fissure tears open the ground. With fear running ice cold in your veins, you begin a desperate race to reach the mouth of the skull rock before the entire roof collapses, and you're buried alive in this doomed temple. Give me a roll a die.
Yeah, I still wish this guy would just grow some balls and fight us already.
First of all, you may add 2 for having Grand Hunt Mastery, and then you may add... and add 4 for rank.
Okay. That would be 15.
Yay! Guided by advanced Kai instincts, you avoid the rain of debris without too much difficulty and reach the entrance to the skull rock unscathed. Without any hesitation, you enter the misty portal in pursuit of your enemy. Barely seconds later, there's a tremendous explosion and the entire temple ceiling collapses. The moment you enter the mouth of the skull rock, you are engulfed by a dense fog that is icy cold and impenetrable to your sight and senses. The thunderous noise of the temple's destruction ends abruptly, as if a great door has suddenly been closed upon it. You strain your Kai skills to aid your pursuit of Wolfsbane, but to no avail. The ivory-white fog hides everything, swamping and distorting your sense of time and direction. You keep moving, forcing yourself onwards, even though the surface beneath your feet has become viscous and uncertain. After what seems like an eternity spent wandering through this cloudy limbo, you gradually feel the ground hardening and sense that the impenetrable fog is beginning to dissipate. Patches of grey appear in the creamy whiteness. Okay. Then
Creamy whiteness.
Yep. Patches of grey are in it. Then the fog dissolves completely and you find yourself standing in the middle of a rubble-strewn street, surrounded by the bleak and derelict remains of a decaying alien city. It is the dead of night, and a fine drizzle falls from a storm-laden sky, dampening this dreary landscape. Everywhere you look, you see the hollow shells of buildings. They are heaped with mounds of broken stone, twisted rusty iron, and shattered glass. There are no trees, no blades of grass, no animals here. Everything is cold, grey, and dead. Did we land in Detroit?
Yes.
What? Seriously, what is up with those jokes about the... Nah, never mind.
Detroit is victim of a serious economic downturn, which caused a great deal of urban decay, thus leading to a lot of jokes based on this derelict state.
Either that or are we in Ukraine? Well, that was those half-built towns that we drove through there sounds a little bit like this. But that wouldn't be the case, that would just be unfinished, I suppose.
Indeed.
So Detroit it is.
You examine the paved surface of a street and detect your enemy's footprints. They are fresh and they lead you to a small courtyard flanked by 2 buildings, a large municipal hall and a smaller 2-story dwelling. Wolfsbane's tracks end in the middle of the wet courtyard. You sense they have been deliberately erased. Despite your advanced hunting skills, you are unable to determine into which building your enemy has escaped. So, municipal hall or the two-story dwelling?
Two-story dwelling.
What say you, Warlord?
Yeah, let's just take that.
There is no door to the entrance of this derelict dwelling, and after checking that Wolfsbane has left no unwelcome surprises, you enter and find a foyer strewn with mouldering masonry. Two staircases lead off this small entrance hall. One ascends to the floor above, the other descends to the basement. The stairwell down is blocked by timbers and sheets of crumpled iron. It shows no sign of having been disturbed for years, and so you choose instead to explore the upper floor. At the top of the stairs, you make an unexpected discovery. You emerge into a corridor that is lined with a seamless metallic skin. Unlike the dereliction you have so far witnessed, the walls and floor of this passage bears no signs of neglect or corrosion. They gleam like highly polished steel. You explore the corridor and come to what at first sight appears to be a dead end. Then you hear a loud hiss and a concealed panel slides open to reveal another steel-lined passageway. You pause to examine the panel, but you can detect no traps or residues of magic. Do you wish to enter this new passageway?
Might want to.
Yeah.
The moment you enter the new passage, the concealed panel slides shut behind you. Almost immediately, another panel slides out of the middle wall and seals off the passage ahead, trapping you in the cell-like space between. You throw yourself against the sealed door and run your hands over its smooth surface, searching frantically for a means to escape. Your effort made all the more urgent when suddenly a loud hissing sound fills your ears. It is the sound of the air being extracted from the cell. Gasping for breath, you turn around to search the opposite panel. Your hopes rise when you see a combination lock set flush into its surface. It is unlike the lock which occurred at the entrance to the Temple of Avaros, but your kind skills soon detect how they operate. The lock is inlaid with 5 dials in 2 groups. There is one group of 3 dials and one group of 2. Each dial indicates a number. One dial, however, is in the group of 2 is set to 0. By turning this dial to the correct number, you will cause the lock to disengage. Study the following sequence of numbers carefully. Alright, here's today's lucky numbers.
Hmm. 21, 37, 39. On the other one, just 37.
Well, I
Linnea, do
remain.
you get it?
No.
Rana?
No, I have to say I'm utterly clueless.
39?
Is that your answer?
The only thing I can think of.
And I have no clue either. Plus, I have usually trusted in Givinia's wisdom, so I would have to go with her answer.
There's no wisdom here, it's just a random guess.
Well, I am also supporting your random guessing. Warlord?
I can't think of anything better, so sure, why not?
Within 30 seconds of both panels closing, all of the air is sucked out of this tiny metal cell. Your Magna discipline of Nexus sustains you for a further 10 minutes, during which precious little time you're trying to do everything possible to extricate yourself from this deadly vacuum. Unfortunately, your valiant efforts are to no avail. You're unable to penetrate the strange metal skin of the cell. Slowly, reluctantly, you succumb to the lack of oxygen until you drift off into the sleep from which you never awaken. Sadly, your life and your duel ends here.
That was the 7th time I died?
True.
I don't know, but that joke is getting old.
And maybe we should stop dying.
Yeah,
So,
but in
yeah.
this case...
Hmm?
I think it is called choked out.
Ran out of air.
Ran out of air, choked out.
So,
Whatever.
since you can't solve the riddle, I suppose you want to go back to when the passageway opened.
Yeah.
Yes. And then
And-
not enter it.
Okay. You return to the stairs and descend to the foyer. Mindful of your enemy's skills of deception and illusion, you take a closer look at the debris which blocks the stairs leading down. But you cannot distinct any tracks or evidence that Wolfsbane has come this way. You're about to abandon the stairwell and leave the building when something catches your eyes. Protruding from the dust that covers the top steps is a small disc of iron engraved with runic symbols. If you wish, you can keep this iron disc.
Is it a
Is it-
special item we're talking
Yeah, I
about?
was about to ask that.
Oh yes,
same
yes,
question.
it's a special item.
Okay.
Runic disc
Yeah,
has
let's just
rune
say it.
text on it.
Once outside, you focus your tracking skills and attempt to pick up your enemy's trail. You have a feeling that he may have doubled back on his tracks, and so you retrace your steps to the street where you first appeared in this alien city. As you're nearing this place, you suddenly hear the ringing metallic clang of an iron girder falling from on high. The noise echoes from an alleyway off to your right, and immediately you go to investigate. At the end of the alley, you discover a derelict warehouse. Fire has ravaged its interior and much of the roof has caved in, but among the debris you can see that it once stored metal cylinders and coils of wire. You stop at the entrance and listen. Your caution is rewarded when you hear footsteps at the rear of the building. You draw your weapon and enter, using the debris for cover as you inch your way towards the back of the ruined warehouse. You're moving between cover when suddenly you see the outline of a human form silhouette against a broken window. Instantly you know that it's not Wolfsbane. This figure is clad in grey, close-fitting armor and is holding a metallic spear. Your realization makes you hesitate, and in that split second of indecision, the armored figure sees you and raises its spear. A blinding flame ignites at its tip, and a beam of white-hot light comes speeding towards your chest. Guinea, roll your die and add 3 for having grand pathmanship.
Okay. 6.
You throw yourself to the ground, and the beam of blazing white light passes within inches of your head, close enough to scorch the hood of your cloak. The moment you hit the warehouse floor, you roll over and scramble for the nearest cover, a heavy iron chest, banded and riveted with steel. The warrior follows your swift movement and looses a second beam from his spear, which slams into the iron chest with stunning force. You gasp with horror as you see the side of the chest bulging towards your face. Its thick rivets tremble, and its age-blackened skin smolders with a sullen heat. Instinct takes over and makes you roll away from the iron chest and seek cover elsewhere. As you move, the beam of light tears through the rears of the iron box and destroys the ground where only moments before your face had been. You call upon all of your camouflage skills to mask your body as you hurriedly seek a way to escape from this warrior and his sorcerous weapon. You reach the base of a large steel tank and scramble up a ladder affixed to its side. The top of the tank is stacked high with coiled ropes, and you force yourself in amongst them. A few moments later, you watch the warrior approach the smoldering remains of the iron chest. He is close enough to now for you to see that his weapon is attached by a length of steel cable to a canister strapped to its back. Do you wish to use your combination of your bow and major magic?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Yes.
You unshoulder your bow and draw an arrow from your quiver. As you fix the notch of the arrow to the bowstring, you cast the old kingdom battle spell Flameshaft upon its tip, keeping the last word of the spell upon your lips until you are ready to fire. Patiently you watch the warrior kicking at the smoldering remains of the iron chest. The moment he turns away, you utter the completing word of the spell and let loose your arrow at his back. The tip of the arrow ignites in flight, the magical flame illuminating the gloom as it arcs towards your unwary target with deadly precision. The fiery point penetrates deep into the metal canister strapped to the warrior's back, and, in a terrifying instant, he and his sorcerer's weapon are engulfed by a crackling mass of electrical energy. He screams and staggers across the floor, his limbs and torso trailing blue-white snakes of light, which earth themselves to the surrounding metal debris. Then finally, the energy that is contained within the canister is expended. Released from his torment, he loses balance and falls heavily to the floor. You shoulder your bow and move to descend from the top of the storage tank, but you freeze when you see a second warrior running to where the first has fallen. As he passes beneath the tank, you leap onto his back and bring him crashing to the ground. To your shocked surprise, you discover that he is an exceptional strong opponent. He draws power from the armor he wears, and he uses it to break your grip. In desperation, you utter the word of the old kingdom spell Energy Grasp, and you use it to discharge a powerful pulse of energy into the fabric of his armor. The effect is devastating. His armor disintegrates, crushing him to death as it crumbles and compresses his body. Yikes.
Am I the only one who just gets a vibe of the Red Alert Tesla troopers here?